and welcome to Brighter Kashmir Interviews. I am Danish bin Nabi. My today's guest is the Vice Chancellor of Central University of Kashmir, Professor Mehraj Mir. I shall be asking him about various issues concerning CUK. Mr. Vice Chancellor, warm welcome to Brighter Kashmir Interviews.
Thank you, Danish Saab. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. तो जनाब आप शुरू कर लीजिए और फरमाइए किस क्या मुझे
Let me start by your personal life. You have a vast experience academically as well as you have been also an administrator. Do you feel satisfied with your performance?
Yes, दानिश साहब बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन आपने मुझसे पूछा और जिसके लिए मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम चाहिए, लेकिन ब्रीफली मैं कुछ यहाँ पर मुख्तसर में कुछ अर्ज़ करूँगा आपको. खुदा का शुक्र है माशाअल्लाह. आई एम गोइंग टू टच 70 years of my age. I started my education in a primary school in the downtown and then again did my matric from Islamia High School, Srinagar. I did my graduation from Islamia College of Science and Commerce and thereafter got admission at AMU Aligarh in the Faculty of Law. I did my LLB, LLM and PhD from Aligarh. And when I completed my studies way back in 1976, I got an appointment. I got an opportunity to work in the University of Kashmir in the Department of Law. I started my career as a lecturer in law way back in 1976. And Danish Saab, briefly speaking, I continued in the University of Kashmir and got the opportunity to work on various assignments. In addition of taking classes, I superannuated from the University of Kashmir in 2011 October and again got the opportunity to join the Central University of Kashmir Faculty of School of Legal Studies, and here I remained as a dean and then got an opportunity to officiate as a vice chancellor for about 2 years. It was almost 1 year and 10-11 months, and thereafter I was appointed as a vice chancellor of this Central University of Kashmir. Mashallah, with the grace of Almighty, I completed my tenure of 5 years, but ministry has granted extension to me and I am going to complete 7 years of my tenure as a vice chancellor on 2nd of March.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, you have shifted your departments to Ganderbal now.
Yes, yes.
How much time would it take to develop all these departments?
Danish Saab, all this very question which you have posed, it has its own history and geography. In the sense, as you know it, the Central University of Kashmir came into being way back in 2010 along with other 14 universities in the country. And immediately when this was established in a rented house somewhere in Hyderpora, agitation started in Jammu. They asked for a separate university for Jammu. Accordingly, a separate university was granted to Jammu, known as Central University of Jammu. Till then, both the universities were kept on hold. The Central University of Kashmir started its functioning with some departments, teaching departments in Magarmalbagh, in Sonewar, then in Navgam.
Because Mr. Vice Chancellor, it's a long story. Now the departments have shifted.
Just I'm coming. Yes, you are right.
Can you kindly briefly touch upon it?
I will jump from what I'm saying. I will take a big jump. Well, Danish Saab, as I said, the university expanded so far as its academic programs are concerned, and we had no option but to take more and more buildings on rentals. Finally, we decided with the help of the then state government, and we were given some structures at Ganderbal, and we shifted almost all the departments to Ganderbal. At present in Ganderbal, we are operating at 4 places. One is this where you are at present, known as Green Campus. Danish Saab, the second is at Nunar. The third one is what we call as Old Hospital. Now we call it as a Science and Arts Campus. And the main is at Tulmula. Well, I must tell you, Danish Saab, which is very much relevant over here, that as I said, we were born with 14 universities way back in 2010. But nevertheless, our flag on academics out of these 14 universities is very high. But we have failed I have failed, rather, I must say, so far as raising of infrastructure is concerned.
You have failed.
Yes,
You accept it. You have failed as far as the infrastructure of development is
yes,
concerned.
I do admit it. I do confess it. I have given it in black and white. In fact, we used to have every year a meeting with the Honorable President of India, who is our visitor, and there too I have every time confessed that we could not make any progress so far as infrastructure is
And how
concerned.
did the President of India respond to it?
They tried their best, and I will also tell you a very important question. And when I mean the President of India, it means there were other key functionaries of the then Ministry of Human Resources Development and now the Ministry of Education. Everyone acted, but you missed the important question. You should have asked me a question: why you have failed? Why we have failed?
Not only why you have failed, what are the hiccups?
Yes, that is the main. You see, in fact, as what they did, the first and the fourth question, important question is why we failed. The land which has been allotted to us at Tulumla, it is a big chunk of land, near about 5,000 canals, means around 488 acres.
Marshy land.
It is marshy land, it is full of water bodies, and when a contract was given initially to one of the central government department known as CPWD, they were initially requested to raise a wall, compound wall, which the initial estimated cost was around 9 crores. They built it only 10% of the wall, and thereafter they stopped the work, came with the revised estimate of 26 crores, and whatever 10% they had raised, that tilted and developed some creek.
Vice Chancellor of CUK, what have you done
As
to stop it?
As Vice Chancellor of this university, as a responsible officer of this university, we have referred the case to the ministry, and the ministry took the cognizance. They have referred it to the CVC, Central Vigilance Commission, at that point of time, and they have been taken to the TOSIC. I am not concerned what punishment has been accorded. The basic point which is over here is we have suffered. And
Concerned what punishment they have been given?
no, my concern is basically, my focus was that I should get something by.
What did you get?
That is why I am coming to this. That is, they could not do it, and obviously our relation came to an end with the CPWD, and now the ministry is dealing with them. And
Vice Chancellor, let's move forward. Crores of funds have lapsed. How detrimental has it?
yes, you are right. Crores of rupees have lapsed. In fact, I must also confess, till date, till we were in the rental buildings, we have paid near about more than 26 crores by way of rentals. And initially, there was a huge chunk of money with us for raising infrastructure, which we could not utilize, and it was kept with us for about 3 years, that sanction, but finally we had to surrender that money back to the ministry. And that has the basic. Then what we did, one is we were provided these people came on the roads from Ganderbal. They said the university has been allotted to Ganderbal, and why it is functioning in the rental buildings. And as I said, at that point of state government came into action. A high level meeting was held, which was presided over by the then Honorable Education Minister Mr. Bukhari, and by Chief Secretary was there, Education Commissioner was there, Divisional Commissioner was, DC was also called, and finally these structures were given to us. And here also what we did, it was not sufficient. This accommodation was not sufficient for 2 or 3 departments.
Vice Chancellor, the moot point is that the infrastructure, the funds, everything has failed. Am I right?
You are right. You are right. You are right. Moot point is there, but I would like to complete this what I was saying. Finally, what we did, we raised the infrastructure over here, which almost has been in a position to cater to the present need of our existing departments. And regarding what this important question is, that since it is not the fault of the Central University of Kashmir, it is the fault of the marshy land. From all the authorities, it was our responsibility to inform them. The basic point over here was that the foundation cost which comes for the construction at this marshy land is near about 40 to 42%, which the government of India said we are not ready to provide it. Then I come back to it before you ask the next question. Another question which you asked earlier is then what was done by the ministry when we informed them. They wrote a letter to the then Honorable Chief Minister with the request that some alternate land be provided, because it is not possible to raise the structures, vertical structures at the given land with the limited amount of the funds. But the state government said it is not possible for us to provide a big chunk of land anywhere. It is not available so far as district Gaunderbal is concerned.
As an administrator, what's the way forward? What's the way out of all this?
The way forward is we approached the state government at that point of time. We approached the central government and made an earnest request that we be given at least some additional 1,000 canals of land, which is load bearing quality land. And finally this was carried by the then Chief Minister, who came on spot, late Mufti Sahab, and it was carried by the district board of Gaunderbal. And we, as a part of that, we have recently been allotted a quality load bearing land near about 90 or more than 90 canals of land near this Watla.
Watla. That's not the marshy land.
That is not the marshy land. That, as I said, that is a quality land. Load bearing.
You had demanded about 1,000 canals.
That is true.
Instead of 1,000 canals, you only got 90 canals.
Yes, you are, because we continue with our demand. But for me, something is better than
Nothing.
nothing.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, let's come to students now. Since the university has been shifted to Gaunderbal, we have seen a steady decline in the enrollment of students. What are the major factors in it?
No, you are wrong. So far as this information is concerned, kindly go through the figures. You will find our enrollment, despite many issues which our students are confronting, genuine issues, genuine challenges they are facing, and for which partly university is responsible to a great extent. It may be in terms of the hostel facility, it may be in terms of the transport facility, it may be in terms of any other student-centric facility. The students do face difficulties on these counts. But I am sorry to respond to you. You have a wrong information. Our enrollment is going up, and our enrollment as on date is highest than that of other central universities which came into vogue with us.
Chancellor, please name the figure. What is the highest? What do you mean by highest?
Highest is what is intake sanctioned in our favor.
What is the intake? Please give me a number.
I can give the department wise. You name any department, take biotechnology, all the seats are filled up. We have a demand. Take the department of zoology, take the department of chemistry, take the department of law, take the department of management, take the department of take any department except two departments. Except two departments where I have cautioned them and they are trying their best. That is in fact, in those two departments also now, the enrollment has touched the given intake capacity.
Which are the two departments?
They were earlier the Islamic studies, and now we have changed it into that was comparative religion. Now we have enrolled for Islamic studies. We got a good number, and there was some issue with Urdu. They have been in a position to come up to the target, and even earlier there was a problem with what we call Department of English. They have also come up to our expectations, and of late it was with the media studies because we had an issue with the media this media center, so that they have also come up near to the target.
If we see no higher educational institution is figuring in 100 ranks. No institution in India. What are the reasons?
You are talking of all India scenario. Yes, you are right, and it is a concern, and it is being, this issue is being echoed in almost every vice chancellor's meet whenever it takes place. The basic reason is the universities in India, by and large, have failed to contribute so far as quality research is concerned. Even the old universities, which were even established before 1947, the basic reason for this is that perhaps our focus in this subcontinent has been on mushroom growth of educational institutions rather than quality teaching, learning and research.
And in this regard, do you think the new education policy would help?
New education policy to a great extent, if you examine it in a very critical, with a critical analysis, it is going to help to a great extent because it has provided many opportunities to the students. First and the foremost, if you can spell out, is there is a flexible approach. There is no cap in the sense that you will have to complete your course within the given time. Then there is no cap so far as your selection of the subject is concerned. You are at liberty to select Urdu along with botany. And
Towards NEEP is the visionary step taken by the president.
and more or less it is going to establish what we call a linkage between the lower education and the higher education, which is a need of the hour.
Many students have to leave the Jammu and Kashmir, rather the Kashmir Valley, and move outside for the studies. How can we make it better for our students so that they do not leave the valley?
You see, you have a common problem as we are facing over the decades in this part of the world, which perhaps you as a student might have also suffered, not only as a student but as a citizen. Whatever your age may be, everyone of us is confronting all these issues regarding this. First and foremost, of late you had the problem of internet, you have the problem of electricity, you have the problem of various basic facilities which you need as a citizen and some specific facilities which you need as a student.
Basic and specific facilities we need for our students so that they do not leave the valley. Am I right?
Obviously, and then to provide more and more courses and more opportunities.
Why aren't we doing that?
You see, if you take your own this UT now, UT of Jammu and Kashmir, you will find that here also there is an expansion of the higher education system. There is an expansion of the collegiate education. There is an expansion of the primary education.
But expansion is one thing, but on the grassroots level, things doesn't go the way that needs to be done.
For that purpose, my take is we all are responsible. We as parents, we as teachers at the grassroots level, then you can blame the funding agency, I mean the state or UT, whatever the case may be.
The last segment, let's come to the COVID. Recently we have gone through the COVID, rather we are still in the COVID. Do you see online classes appropriate than the offline classes?
Not at all. They can't replace what we call offline classes. Online classes cannot replace.
CUK presently is working in offline mode.
It is now in offline mode. We have abridged form, both online as well as
Please
offline.
explain.
I will explain to you. In fact, if you remember, we have faced many floods in our state. You may every now and then hartal, curfew, you are not in a position to reach to the classroom, your faculty is not in a position to reach the classroom. We had started even 4 or 5 years back what we call audio video lectures. We recorded, we used it to distribute it to the students, and thereafter after this 370 abrogation, what we did, we prepared audio video lectures, internet was down, and then after this COVID, we distributed it.
What was the medium of distribution?
They used to come off and on, the students, whenever there was any relaxation, or we used to just communicate on phones if it was possible. I mean in this COVID period, not in this post 370 abrogation period. And then what we did, we went online classes. No doubt it was only 2G, but to a great extent we could reach, I must tell you, to near about 65 to 70% of our students.
Somewhere down the line, did you also reach out to the government for the restoration of 4G?
We made a demand in different forms, we as a VCs. And finally you have got it, doesn't matter of late, you got it, and it was continuously a demand was made by the Vice Chancellors to the state, to the center, that this 4G be restored.
My last two questions. First, briefly talk us about where do you see CUK in next 10 years?
I see CUK, inshallah, if we continue with the same pace, since as I said, I have completed my tenure, and in case we get some support and we are in a position to raise the infrastructure, as I said, I do admit again on that count I have failed. Capital I have failed, I am sure that it shall be one of the top universities. So
Chancellor, Central University of Kashmir, Professor Mehrajuddin Mir has failed as far as infrastructure development is concerned.
that is true because of the given circumstances which I did explain to you. If not in toto I explained to you, I explained.
Vice Chancellor, my last question. In the morning when I was coming down here to interview you, there were students outside protesting. The gate was closed. We had to wait at least for an hour outside the gate. Please explain what was the issue.
As I said, perhaps you have not noted that must be recorded, is that my students have a genuine problems. I told you that may be in terms of the hostel, that may be in terms of what we call.
What was today's problem?
Today's problem was they were demanding the hostel accommodation. Since we have resumed our work offline in full swing after a quite long time,
Why are you not providing the hostel?
we are at it. It will take some time.
Again, the same thing. As a Vice Chancellor Administrator, you have failed as far as
Totally wrong.
In this
you
case,
are totally wrong.
in this case, I am
no,
wrong.
you are totally wrong.
In this case, I am
No,
wrong.
no, I said I have failed to raise the infrastructure.
Isn't hostel the infrastructure?
No, but we are at it. We have provided. There was a hostel in place.
Okay.
There was a hostel in place. Please don't try to put your words into my mouth. There was a
Not putting any word
there
into
was
your
a
mouth.
hostel.
The word failure is your word, not mine.
Yes, failure I do admit, as I said, in raising the infrastructure so far as university is concerned.
Mr. Vice Chancellor,
that
so
is-
you are at it. You are at it.
That is none of my fault. That is because of the given land which was given to the Central University of Kashmir.
That's the one thing. What about today morning?
Today morning, the hostel we have, there is some issues are with the hostel. We have to clean it. That was occupied by some protected people. We have taken up the matter with the district administration. Yesterday, the registrar had a meeting along with the chief warden, with the development commissioner, and we have to sanitize it. We have to clean it. It will take some
Can you give the time frame in how many days it would be done?
time. I can't give you time. I can't tell a lie to my students.
You cannot lie to your students. Your students have to wait.
We are at it. It can be resolved
Within-
It
can be resolved
within 1 week.
You are at it.
We are at it. As I told you,
Don't want your students to suffer.
never.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, thank you.
Danish, you also noted, you can just collect inputs from your students. The basic fundamental features of this university is every teacher, every key functionary is accessible to the students. Students at any time, 24/7, can reach through email, through WhatsApp, on phone, or during the working day to any officer, including the vice.
Vice Chancellor would not let the students down.
Not at all.
Professor Mehrajuddin Mir Saab, thank you very much for talking.
Thank you very much.